All right, what if I told you there's a big salary boost coming your way? I'm serious. There's a new government proposal on the table that could seriously bump up your take-home pay in 2026. But there is a catch, and it all depends on one simple thing: where you live.
Which brings me to a really important question for you.
Are you living in Bengaluru, Pune, Hyderabad, or Ahmedabad? If you said yes to any of those, you're going to want to listen very closely. Because this new proposal, it's aimed right at your wallet.
So what's the big deal? Why all the excitement? Well, it all boils down to one thing: a proposed change in the rules for your house rent allowance, HRA. Let's dive in and unpack exactly what this means. Okay, so the headline news is this: the government is thinking about reclassifying these four cities. But what? What does reclassifying even mean in this context? It's actually pretty simple. It means they're looking to expand the exclusive club of top-tier cities that get the absolute best tax benefits. So as you can see here, right now, only 4 cities, Delhi, Mumbai, Kolkata, and Chennai, are on the metro list when it comes to HRA. But if this new proposal goes through, we're adding Bengaluru, Pune, Hyderabad, and Ahmedabad to that list. That's right, the list is literally doubling from 4 cities to 8. And this is why that matters so much. See, if you're in a non-metro city, your HRA tax exemption is limited to 40% of your basic salary. But if you're in a metro city, that limit jumps up to 50%. That single change means you could get a whole 10% more of your salary as a tax-free allowance.
Okay, a 10% jump sounds great, but what does that actually look like in real money? In your bank account. Let's break down the math with a practical example so you can see the real financial impact. All right, before we get to the savings, you need to understand how HRA exemption actually works. It's a bit of a formula. Your tax break is always the lowest of 3 possible numbers. First, the actual HRA you get from your employer. Second, whatever rent you pay minus 10% of your basic salary. And third, and this is the important one for us, either 40% or 50% of your basic salary, depending on the city. And that third rule, that's the one that's about to change everything for these 4 cities.
Let's put some numbers to this. Imagine your basic annual salary is 12 lakh rupees. Right now, in a city like Pune, your maximum HRA exemption from that third rule is capped at 40%, which is 4,80,000 rupees. But under this new proposal, you'd be in a metro city. That means the cap jumps to 50%, pushing the maximum exemption up to a cool 6 lakh rupees. And what's the difference? That's a potential 1,20,000 rupees in extra tax-free income every single year. Let me say that again. An extra 1.2 lakh that goes straight into your pocket, not to the tax department. That's a huge deal. Okay, this all sounds amazing, right? But listen up, because this is probably the most important part of what I'm going to tell you today. This benefit, it's not going to just happen automatically. Nope. If you want to see this extra cash, you have to take action.
So, what do you need to do? Here's your simple action plan. Number 1. Go talk to your HR department. And don't wait until 2026. Do it now. Ask for a review of your salary structure. The goal is to make sure your HRA component is set up correctly to take full advantage of this change. Seriously, this is the key to unlocking the maximum benefit. All right, before you run off and start planning your next vacation with all that extra money, hold on. There are 2 really important conditions. This is the fine print, and you absolutely need to know this stuff. First, and this is a big one, this entire HRA benefit only works if you're in the old tax regime. If you've already switched over to the new, simplified tax regime, then I'm sorry to say this particular change won't affect you at all. And the second condition is all about timing. You need to circle a date on your calendar. This change is proposed to kick in from April 1st, 2026. Now, that might seem far away, but it actually gives you the perfect amount of time to get ready, chat with your employer, and make sure everything's in place. So, that leaves us with one final big question for you to think about. With this massive change just over the horizon, you've got to ask yourself, is my salary structure actually ready for this? Get those conversations started with your HR now, because a little bit of planning today could make you a whole lot richer come 2026.